Most people do not stay financially stuck because they are lazy. They stay stuck because they repeat the same money mistakes for so long that those mistakes start to feel normal. That is the real tragedy, not failure, but normalization. Living in a cycle so common that nobody questions it. You work hard, you get paid, you spend, you recover, and then you do it again. Years pass, income rises, stress stays, and one day you wake up and realize you built motion but not security. That is the part nobody explains early enough. Wealth is not built by effort alone. Millions of people put in effort. Wealth is built when effort is combined with restraint, clarity, and time. And most people lose the game before they even understand what game they're playing. They think money is about earning more. Often it is about leaking less. They think the answer is finding the right investment. Often the answer is becoming the kind of person who stops sabotaging simple ones. First rule is brutally unglamorous. Spend less than you earn and protect the gap. That gap is not leftover money. It is not casual savings. It is the entire engine of wealth. The difference between income and lifestyle is where freedom begins, but most people close that gap immediately. The raise comes, the lifestyle rises, the bonus arrives, the standards expand. They never actually get wealthier. They just become more expensive to maintain. That is one of the most common financial illusions in America, a richer-looking life with no real increase in security. The second rule is to start before you feel ready. Time matters more than intensity. This is what people hear, but rarely absorb. They understand compounding as an idea, but not as an emotional truth. Waiting 5 or 10 years does not feel catastrophic in the moment, which is why so many people do it. But the market does not reward your intentions. It rewards your time in the system. Delay is expensive in a way the human brain struggles to feel until it is far too late. Rich people do not start because everything feels certain. They start because they understand that delay is a cost. The third rule is this: never let panic make permanent decisions. This is where psychology destroys more wealth than bad assets ever will. When markets fall, fear starts speaking with total confidence. It tells you loss can be avoided if you act now. It tells you cash is safety. It tells you this time is different. And in the moment, fear feels intelligent. But history shows the same lesson again and again. Markets fall, people panic, people sell, markets recover, and the people who sold lock in losses that patience would have healed. Wealth builders understand something emotionally difficult but mathematically simple. Temporary pain is often the admission price for long-term gain. The fourth rule is to simplify. Complexity impresses insecure people. Simplicity makes wealthy people rich. Most individuals do not need complicated portfolios, constant market opinions, speculative strategies, or endless financial content. What they need is boring consistency, broad diversification, low costs, regular investing, long horizons. The financial industry often profits by making people feel underqualified and dependent. But the truth is that many of the most effective strategies are simple enough to feel almost disappointing. That is why so many people ignore them. Simplicity looks unsophisticated to the ego, but it works. The fifth rule is to destroy high-interest debt before pretending to build wealth. This is where denial becomes expensive. You cannot meaningfully grow money at 7 or 8% while bleeding 20% through credit card balances. That is not investing. That is financial contradiction. Some people like the feeling of building an investment account while carrying expensive consumer debt, because it feels productive. But math does not care how productive it feels. High-interest debt is one of the few places where the answer is immediate and obvious. Eliminate it. It is not glamorous, but it may be the highest guaranteed return available to you. 2. The sixth rule is to build a cash buffer before life forces you into stupid decisions. An emergency fund is not a luxury. It is strategic stability. Without liquid reserves, every unexpected event becomes a financial ambush. A broken car, a medical bill, a layoff, a repair, and suddenly you are taking on debt or selling investments at the wrong time. Rich people are not just people with assets. They are people with enough margin that ordinary chaos does not destroy their plan. Margin is underrated because it looks inactive, but inactive cash in the right amount is often what protects active investments from disaster. The seventh rule is to know what money is for. This is where most financial advice becomes hollow. Save, invest, grow, compound, but toward what? If money has no clear purpose, discipline will always feel like deprivation. But once money becomes linked to something specific, freedom, dignity, retirement, family stability, choice, then the behavior changes. A person who knows what they are protecting can say no more easily. Purpose makes patience easier. It gives discipline emotional meaning. Without that meaning, spending always feels more real than the future. The eighth rule is to stop confusing action with progress. This mistake ruins countless intelligent people. They research endlessly, trade too often, react to news, shift allocations, chase opportunities, and all the motion feels like control. But motion is not the same as advancement. Often it is just anxiety made productive looking. Real wealth is usually built through fewer decisions, not more. Better filters, not more activity. The person who keeps touching their strategy out of nervousness often lags behind the person who set a sound approach and left it alone. The ninth rule is to think in decades, not moods. This may be the hardest rule of all because it goes directly against modern culture. Everything trains you to want feedback now, results now, relief now, validation now. But wealth belongs to people willing to act in ways that make sense over long stretches of time. That means tolerating boredom, tolerating uncertainty, tolerating the feeling that nothing dramatic is happening. Because most of the real financial progress in life does not feel dramatic while it is happening. It feels repetitive, quiet, almost forgettable, until one day it becomes visible and people call it success, even though the real story happened years earlier. And the 10th rule is the one beneath all the others. Money amplifies character. If you are impulsive, more money magnifies impulsiveness. If you are disciplined, more money magnifies discipline. If you avoid reality, more money gives you more ways to avoid it. This is why wealth is never just a financial subject. It is a behavioral one. The market does not only test intelligence, it tests patience, restraint, humility, and the ability to stay rational while other people become emotional. That is why some people with average incomes become secure, while others with high incomes remain trapped. The difference is not usually access. It is behavior repeated over years. This is the uncomfortable truth most Americans learn too late. Wealth is not a miracle. It is not a hack. It is not reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It is mostly the byproduct of respect and principles that feel too ordinary to be exciting. Spend below your means. Start early. Stay in. Stay simple. Kill bad debt. Hold cash. Know your why. Avoid pointless activity. Think longer. Behave better. None of this is sexy. That is exactly why it works. Because while most people are chasing the impressive path, wealthy people are usually walking the effective one. And in the end, the people who become financially free are rarely the ones who made the most brilliant decision. They are the ones who made the most boring, good decisions again and again until boring became powerful. Aim